Have you ever taken a moment to think about what really happens when you stop pursuing a woman? Welcome to today's deep exploration into a question that's been on the minds of many, whether you're currently dealing with it or have been there before. Today, we're diving into the fascinating power of silence. What really happens when you decide to step back and no longer initiate contact with a woman? More importantly, how can you, as a man, use this moment to reclaim your confidence and self-worth? In this video, we'll examine how women typically respond when the chase ends and how their emotions and behavior can shift. But here's the twist. We'll be viewing all of this through the lens of ancient Stoic philosophy. Stoicism emphasizes resilience, emotional control, and the strength found in stepping back and evaluating your life with clarity. By applying these timeless principles, you'll learn how to remain grounded and self-assured, even in moments of uncertainty or silence from someone you care about. Join us as we break down these situations and offer practical strategies, not just to cope, but to thrive and rediscover your inner worth through Stoic discipline. If this message speaks to your current experience or simply resonates with you, be sure to like the video, subscribe for more insightful content, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Let's begin. 1. Initial shock and confusion. One of the first things you might notice when you stop reaching out is her immediate confusion or surprise. This is completely natural. A communication flow that was once regular suddenly goes silent. She might start wondering what caused the change. Did she do something wrong? Has something shifted? She's caught in uncertainty, and that can stir up a range of emotions, from curiosity to irritation. But here's where Stoicism becomes powerful. One of its core teachings is focusing on what's in your control, your actions, your thoughts, and your emotional responses. Her reaction isn't yours to manage. Trying to fix her confusion is a wasted effort because it lies outside your control. Instead, center your attention on staying emotionally stable and composed. Let's say you were the one always starting conversations, making plans, putting in all the effort. After a while, the relationship feels one-sided, like you're doing the chasing. So, you stop. You pull back. At that moment, she's left wondering, why isn't he talking to me anymore? That's when the confusion sets in. But rather than jumping back in to explain yourself or soothe her feelings, you lean into the silence. That silence becomes your strength. By stepping back, you give her the space to process and give yourself the clarity to refocus. Stoicism teaches us that silence isn't emptiness. It's a chance for reflection and growth. During that pause, you start observing your emotions. You're not looking for validation anymore. You're not chasing her reactions. You're grounded, not because you don't care, but because you know her thoughts aren't within your power. Often, when a man steps back, it forces her to consider the balance of the relationship. If there was genuine value in the connection, your absence may lead her to reassess her role. But more importantly, it allows you to ask yourself, does this dynamic align with your According to the Stoics, your peace should never depend on someone else's attention. Whether she responds or not shouldn't affect your inner calm. This mindset empowers you. When you don't chase and don't react impulsively, you send a powerful message that your emotional well-being is not up for negotiation. This creates a solid foundation within you, one that isn't shaken by outside reactions. You stay in control of yourself. Now that we've explored how confusion can unfold, let's take a closer look at the deeper Stoic principle behind it all: control. It's about realizing that the only person you can truly influence is yourself. That simple mental shift, from needing external validation to valuing internal peace, is what makes this approach powerful. By holding on to calmness, you don't just manage your emotions in the moment, you reshape your entire way of relating to others. If that resonates, let us know in the comments. Type "I choose inner peace" below. Your support helps keep this conversation alive. Let's move forward. Number 2. Reflection on the relationship. When you stop pursuing or talking to a woman, it disrupts the familiar pattern, and she will likely feel it. She may start mentally revisiting your interactions, trying to figure out what caused this sudden change. During this period, she reflects, wondering if she did something wrong or if something deeper has shifted. But here's what matters. From a Stoic viewpoint, while she reflects, you should be doing the same. Not on her behavior, not on her response, but on your own. What was your role in the relationship? Were you true to your values? Were you acting with authenticity? Or were you seeking approval and trying too hard to win her attention? A Stoic would remind you, your value doesn't come from how others see you, it comes from how closely you live by your principles. If you were constantly initiating conversations, always trying to keep her engaged, you may have compromised your own boundaries. This is your opportunity to ask yourself, why? Were you afraid of being alone? Did her attention become your validation? Let's say you were always the one texting first, always making plans. The moment you stopped doing that, she likely noticed. But instead of waiting anxiously for her to react, use that space to reflect inward. Did you lose yourself in the pursuit of her affection? Did you abandon your own standards just to keep the connection alive? Self-reflection in Stoicism is not about regret. It's about learning. It's about acknowledging where you may have stepped away from your core and making the decision to come back stronger. You might realize that you put her approval above your own well-being, or that you sacrificed who you are just to keep her around. This is your time to realign. Don't worry about what she's doing during this silence. That's not your concern. Your power lies in how you choose to use this time. Will you grow? Will you reconnect with what truly matters to you? That's the Stoic path. Instead of sitting around, hoping for a text, use the moment to build yourself up. Strengthen your mindset. Get clear about your own needs in a relationship. Because when you stop chasing, you stop giving away your happiness to someone else. You reclaim it. That's what Stoicism is all about. Finding lasting peace. Not from external approval, but from your commitment to living authentically. So, while she may be reflecting on what went wrong, your focus should be on what you've learned, how you've grown, and how to move forward with intention. That's the path to true strength and inner respect, one that doesn't depend on whether she returns or not. Number 3, testing boundaries. This often shows up subtly. She might send a casual text out of nowhere, or maybe she posts something online that's clearly meant to catch your eye. She could even stir up a situation just to see if you'll respond. She's testing the waters, trying to see if she still has influence over you. Now, this isn't always done with bad intentions. It's often just a way of gauging your emotional availability, or whether you've really moved on. Here's where many men slip. They react emotionally. A wave of fear hits them. Fear of losing her for good. Fear she's replacing them. Fear that the silence has backfired. So, they reply immediately. They jump back into the old dynamic, chasing again. But here's the truth. You can stop here, or ask to continue with the rest. Have you ever noticed that when you react quickly to a woman testing your boundaries, you're not acting from strength, you're reacting from insecurity? This is exactly where the power of Stoicism comes in. A Stoic man understands that real strength is internal. He stays grounded in his principles and doesn't let the emotions or actions of others shake him. When a woman starts testing your boundaries after you've pulled away, she's often checking if she can still influence you. But a Stoic remains centered. He knows that only his thoughts, emotions, and actions are within his control. What she does, thinks, or whether she stays or walks away, that's her choice. And that's completely okay. Imagine you haven't messaged her for several days, and suddenly she reaches out. She might be doing it just to see if you'll quickly jump back in. But instead of reacting from a place of fear or eagerness, a Stoic man pauses. He considers whether replying fits with his own goals and values. Maybe you choose to respond, but with calm, grounded energy, not from a need to please her. Or maybe you don't reply at all, because you realize it's not worth your emotional investment. Either way, your response comes from strength, not from impulse. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that chasing her will win her over, but often, that only causes you to lose your self-respect and personal power. A Stoic man doesn't chase validation. He doesn't tie his worth to a woman's attention or approval. His value comes from within. When you hold your boundaries and stay composed, you send a clear signal to her and to yourself that your self-worth isn't up for negotiation. Think about it like this. When you don't respond to every little test or emotional tug, you're showing real confidence and emotional discipline. People, including women, are naturally drawn to that kind of inner strength, not strength that tries to control others, but the kind that masters the self. A Stoic understands that life constantly tests you through people, challenges, and unexpected turns. The goal isn't to avoid those tests, but to respond with wisdom and control. When a woman pushes your limits or tries to provoke a reaction, she's often doing so unconsciously to see how stable and centered you really are. If you react emotionally, you show uncertainty and neediness. But when you remain composed and true to your values, you prove that you are in control. This isn't about manipulation. It's about being authentic and secure in who you are. You're not ignoring her to make her chase you. You're simply choosing to protect your peace and uphold yourself. In the end, a Stoic man knows that true power isn't about chasing, reacting, or proving anything. It's about standing firm in who you are. When you face a test, show your strength not by trying to outplay her, but by staying anchored in your truth. That kind of confidence leaves a lasting impression. Now take a moment to think back on your own experiences. Have you found yourself chasing validation, or have you stood firm, honoring your values? Growth comes from honest reflection. So don't shy away from admitting where you've slipped. It's all part of becoming better. Share your thoughts in the comments, or if this resonates with you, just type, "I control my actions, not hers." Let's keep this conversation alive. Now, let's move to number 4, seeking closure. Have you ever noticed how things suddenly change when you stop talking to a woman? One day she seems uninterested, and the next, she's reaching out, asking questions, trying to understand what went wrong. That's what we call seeking closure. It's a common reaction when someone feels the loss of attention they once took for granted. But here's the real question. Do you actually owe her that closure? Picture this, you were messaging regularly, maybe even went on a few dates, but something just didn't feel right. Maybe her effort didn't match yours, or her energy seemed off. So you stopped reaching out. Days go by, and suddenly, she's texting again asking why you disappeared, what changed, or what went wrong. In moments like this, many men feel obligated to explain themselves, but this is where the Stoic mindset gives you power. You don't owe anyone an explanation if giving it means disturbing your peace. Think about it, your peace of mind is your responsibility. If offering closure is going to pull you back into confusion, anxiety, or a dynamic that drains your energy, maybe it's not worth it. Stoicism teaches that you're responsible for your own thoughts and responses, not for living up to someone else's emotional expectations. Yes, she might want answers, but you decide how much access anyone has to your emotions and your time. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In this case, her need for closure is the outside event. The strength lies in how you choose to respond. Will you reopen a door you already closed mentally, or will you let your silence be the answer? Seeking closure is natural, but not every situation requires a conversation. Sometimes, the most stoic and self-respecting move you can make is to say nothing and simply protect your peace, and let the silence answer the questions she may never ask. That doesn't mean you're being heartless. It means you're safeguarding your emotional space by not responding to every emotional pull. Your peace is your responsibility. Let that guide you. Number 5, emotional responses. Picture this. You've stopped initiating. No more texts, no more calls. The energy and attention she once received from you gone. And suddenly, things start to shift. Her emotional response kicks in. Maybe she lashes out. Maybe she expresses sadness. Or maybe she just seems relieved. All of these reactions are normal. They're human. But as someone following the path of Stoicism, you don't have to let her emotional wave pull you under. Let's go deeper into this. Stoic philosophy teaches that emotions are temporary. Just like the weather, some days are calm, others stormy, but they always pass. Her anger or sadness isn't something you have to fix. It's a response to the shift in the connection. And as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Maybe she gets upset, sends you angry texts, vents to her friends. Your natural urge might be to defend yourself, to jump into the storm. But the Stoic way, you stay still, you stay centered. Her anger belongs to her, not yours to carry. You don't take on emotional baggage that doesn't belong to you. Or maybe it's sadness. She starts messaging about how much she misses your presence. It might pull at your emotions. You may feel tempted to comfort her, to step back in and fix it. But again, Stoicism reminds us, you are not responsible for soothing every emotion that isn't your own. Her sadness is real, but it's her path to walk. Then there's relief. Maybe she was already detaching. Maybe your silence matches what she was feeling. That might sting, but it's also clarity. And clarity is power. Her relief doesn't define your value. It simply shows you where you stand, and that's something you can accept with grace. Remember, You can't control how she feels. You can only control how you respond. Do you get pulled back into the same cycle the moment emotions flare up? Or do you stay firm, knowing that your inner peace is the highest priority? Next time her emotions surfaced after you pulled back, whether it's frustration, sorrow, or even indifference, stay grounded. Emotions come and go. She begins to reconsider the role you played in her life. Maybe she's thinking about the emotional stability you brought, how you never allowed the world around you to shake your foundation. But while she reflects, you stay grounded in your self-worth, not letting her opinion define your value. The more you rely on outside approval, her texts, her compliments, her attention, the further you drift from true inner strength. Stoicism teaches us not to be swayed by external opinions, but to stay anchored in what we can control: our actions, our thoughts, our values. Let's say you've stopped texting her, and now there's complete silence. Naturally, she starts to wonder about you, the calm energy you carried, the strength you showed under pressure. Maybe she's remembering how unshaken you were, how you didn't react emotionally to the little things. That leaves a lasting impression. But while she's thinking, you're not sitting around, waiting for her to reach out. You're focused inward. You're using this space to reflect, to check if you're still living by your own principles, because that's where your real value lies. Here's the twist. When you stop chasing, you create mystery. She might start to miss the way you carried yourself, the way you handled life's challenges with quiet strength. And in that moment, she begins to reevaluate who you are. But whether she decides to come back or not isn't what defines you. Your worth is not up for negotiation. That's the essence of Stoicism. Standing firm in your character, regardless of someone else's perception. Imagine the scenario: you've stepped back, gone silent, and now she's left with her thoughts. She starts to see that you're not the type of man easily rattled. That emotional control, that's attractive. Why? Because real confidence, the kind that comes from knowing your values and holding firm to them, is magnetic. It's not about needing someone else to approve of you. It's about being content with who you are. That's why walking away isn't defeat. It's power. You're proving that your sense of worth doesn't depend on someone else's attention. Your value is rooted in how you live, how you treat others, and how steady you are in your principles. Stoicism teaches us self-sufficiency. It reminds us that the only approval we really need is our own. So the next time you find yourself in a similar place, wondering if she replied, if she still cares, if she sees your worth, remember this: your value is already within you. Whether she texts back or not doesn't change that. Whether she comes back or not, that's secondary. What truly matters is that you recognize your own worth and live it out every single day. And if she does reach out again, let's talk about that. You've stopped chasing. No more late night texts. No more trying to make plans. Just silence. Then suddenly, she sends a message. Maybe she's curious. Maybe she misses the attention. Maybe she's wondering why you've gone cold. But now what? Do you instantly respond, eager to pick up where things left off? Or do you pause and reflect? This is where Stoicism comes in. It teaches us not to act out of impulse or emotion, but with intention and clarity. When she reaches out, don't let excitement cloud your judgment. Yes, there might be hope that something could rekindle. But a Stoic man doesn't react blindly. He chooses his response. Take a breath. Ask yourself, why is she really messaging? What is she seeking? And more importantly, how do you want to respond? A Stoic man moves with purpose. You're not responding to chase her again or seek validation. You're responding from a place of strength and self-awareness. Let's say she texts something simple like, "Hey, it's been a while. How are you?" The old version of you might have jumped at the opportunity to get things going again. But now, guided by Stoic principles, you respond with calm and confidence. Something like, "I'm well, thanks. Hope you're doing okay too." Short, polite, grounded. By staying composed, not falling into old emotional patterns, you preserve your cetera. That's what Stoicism is about. Keeping your power by focusing only on what you can control. Your response, your thoughts, your values. You can't control her intentions. You can't know if she's truly interested or just bored. But what you can control is how you show up, and that should always reflect strength, not need. Often, when you stop chasing, they start to notice. They want to see if they still have an effect on you. But with Stoic wisdom, you don't fall for that pull. You don't play the emotional games anymore. Your responses now come from a place of peace, not desperation. So when she reaches out next, time, act with reason, not emotion. Stay steady, stay centered. You don't need her to complete you. You already have everything you need inside you, and that's the real power. Asterisk in Stoic relationships. You're not tossed around by temporary emotions or impulsive decisions. You stay calm, composed, and fully in control of how you choose to respond. Now let's talk about what it means to move forward. Picture this: you've stopped texting her, stopped chasing. At first, it feels uncertain, maybe even a little confusing. What's going to happen? Will she notice? Will she care? But here's the truth: what she does next isn't the point. The real change starts within you. This is where Stoicism truly shows its power. When you stop chasing, you give yourself space to take back control of your emotions. You're no longer fueled by the need for approval or attention. Instead, you're anchored in something deeper: your self-respect, your principles, your emotional strength. And this shift, that quiet, unshakable confidence, it comes from within. Stoicism teaches that real happiness doesn't come from her replies, her attention, or her validation. It comes from the peace you create for yourself. Now you might wonder, what will she do when you stop chasing? Maybe she reach out, realizing your absence says something. Or maybe she won't. She might start to wonder why you pulled away, even try to get your attention again. Women are intuitive, and when your energy shifts, it often sparks curiosity. But here's the key: her response isn't what matters. What matters is that you've stopped depending on it. You're not obsessing over texts, not checking your phone every few minutes. You're not tied to her reaction anymore. You're free. And that freedom, it's not just about letting her go, it's about releasing yourself from the need for external validation. Stoicism reminds us, you can't control what others feel or do, but you can absolutely control how you respond.